Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, let me express my sincere thanks to the colleagues as the IDSA colleagues who have been so supportive to my trip and participants to this daily dialogue edition number 7. And let me also congratulate my colleague Singh to for the very informative and very exciting presentation that made my comment a lot easier. But anyway, I would try to offer my personal thoughts on his presentation. I would like also to offer mine too. I would echo your view on the contentious nature of the maritime security in Asia Pacific by expressing three smaller points on how the contentious it is when we talk about maritime security in Asia Pacific. First of all, at the bilateral level, it relates to the disputes over the islands and features and the water in the South China Sea between parties concerned, especially with China. And I'm happy that in your presentation you have mentioned the recent activities by China that make the situation more contentious and more complicated. The second smaller point is about the regional aspect of the contentious situation with regard to maritime security, which is the challenge to the credibility and efficacy of regional architectures, and I really mean the ASEAN-led institutions. Um, Without properly addressing maritime disputes and maritime security, it would be difficult to promote um, uh, peace and stability in the region, and more importantly, it would also be difficult to promote connectivity, especially infrastructure connectivity in the region. And the theme of connectivity has been a main one we heard since yesterday and earlier. And the third point about the contentious situation security is the global implication of territorial disputes, and it relates to various approaches to solutions to them, and especially the United States and China. It seems that they have been adopting different strategies, and it leads directly to our discussion on the vision or the plans in their own strategy about international order, and that adds up to the contentious nature of maritime security. Um, I would also add that I approached the maritime security from a rather traditional approach, which, uh, which is very closely, I think, relates to the threat perception. And now we have the two full aspects of the threat. One is the capability, and the other one is intention. And we have now full examples of how the countries in the region are developing the capabilities, and more importantly, some country. And I would like to reinforce your point on China, showing that the intention is not really good for stability and peace, especially make it more difficult to reach the solutions for the disputes. Now, with regard to the post uh, 2015 agenda, I'd like to add my point on the um, on the architecture that deals with peace and stability in the region, and I would like to highlight your point and other and especially on the keynote speech when it was mentioned the support to the ASEAN centrality, and I would completely agree that the regional architecture that is the one led by ASEAN should be the one uh, addressing the maritime security in a more serious and more proper way. And I think that our next effort would be the improvement and the strengthening of the EAS, the East Asia Summit, and the EAS would be the uh, formal forum to discuss this very important topic of maritime issue. And the AES would be the um, action-driven forum. It would be the place where the leaders, the top leaders, would give would make decisions, and then and then it would be executed at the lower levels. And I am happy to hear from my colleagues, my Indian colleagues, that India is fully supportive of the EAS as well as other ASEAN-led institutions and the ASEAN centrality in general. And I would think that would be the starting point for my proposal of what would be done in Indian ASEAN cooperation. Um, I would like also to add to offer my thoughts on the less contentious nature of the maritime issue when it comes to ASEAN and India cooperation. As I see ASEAN, India is enjoying at least three advantages with regard to ASEAN relations in general and maritime security in specific. First one is that India does not have maritime disputes with ASEAN. Number two is India has a long record of cooperation, comprehensive cooperation with ASEAN. And that leads to number three, that is the India and ASEAN do not suffer from what we call the deficit of trust, strategic trust. And that would be a very good foundation for us to talk about the contentious issue of maritime security. Now I'd like to come to the specific proposal or suggestions for the policymaker. One, like I said before, the joint effort by India and ASEAN should put we should put our common effort on strengthening the AIS as the principal institution for cooperation, especially on maritime security. We also utilize in a better ways the existing institutions that are supportive to EAS, and I would like to mention the AIF, the ADMM Plus, ASEAN Plus India mechanism, as well as the Extended Maritime Forum. Secondly, India should, I think, stronger support ASEAN in its efforts to promote the DOC and COC negotiation process, making China more responsible and more responsive to the ASEAN efforts based on the rule of law, and I really want to mean the UNCLOS, and that would be the baseline for peaceful solution of the disputes. At the same time, we would work on the specific projects, hopefully approved by the AAS, on maritime security, such issues such as one, creating a mechanisms for raising the maritime domain awareness and for information sharing toward the goal of greater maritime transparency, both in terms of activities or in terms of equipment and weapons purchases. Secondly, to build the maritime capacity for individual countries, and I would like to reinforce the point on this, to protect the maritime rights of the individual countries, as well as to collectively cope with non-traditional maritime challenges. And I would like to add further that the cooperation on non-traditional maritime challenges is urgent because we have incidents happening, but at the same time it serves a higher goal of nurturing the habit of cooperation when it comes to cope with maritime security issue from the traditional perspective. Um, we would also think of sharing the access, and this idea I got from the news about the coming ASEAN, for defense ministers meeting 2 days from now, and the Malaysia defense minister was talking of ASEAN armed forces sharing the access in case of disaster relief, and I think that is the good idea. Okay, and we also would want to develop the direct context between decision makers, law enforcement personnel through training and exchange programs, and it comes directly to the idea of connectivity. I would like to reinforce this connectivity idea by reframing it as maritime security connectivity, where we have policy, institutional, human, and even physical connectivity when we deal with maritime security issues. And the last point, but the not least, of course, is that the bilateral relations between Vietnam and India have developed in own fields recently, and I'd like to make sure that the policymakers attach the greater importance of bilateral relations between Vietnam and India in the broader context of ASEAN-India partnership that serves the interest of peace and stability and prosperity of both Pacific and in Indian Oceans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen.